of Nigeria's foreign trade and 70% of all industrial investments. Now, with 3 lighter terminals and 2 ports, Lagos generates 50% of Nigeria's port revenue, while the Muritala Muhammad International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos, is the major hub for aviation within West Africa and between the region and Europe. So, I mean, literally, if you're going to England, you can just come here, then you go there. If you're going to Ghana or you're going to Sierra Leone, you come here from wherever and then fly to. I mean, it's beautiful. But then, as much as we're seeing all of these people come and go in Lagos, businesses are being attracted. What is the Lagos state government doing in a bid to make sure that whoever comes here is satisfied, is the businesses stay and don't wrap up in a few years or pack up and leave? And that's what my guest is supposed to be joining us here to explain to us. But of course, she's about 12 minutes late. We're supposed to be talking with Oyindamola Egbeyemi. She's the Director of Programs and Coordinator of LSETF, I beg your pardon. But she is late, so we're going to continue the conversation with or without her. But I want to start this conversation with you, Lagosians. Those of you who do businesses, your experience with doing business in Lagos, whether you run a photocopying business, you run a laundromat, you own a shop, where you sell hair. I see lots of that in Lagos, especially the Lekki area. There are lots of shops with clothes, there's food. What has been your experience doing business in Lagos? And then, of course, when the representative of Lagos State Government agency comes in, she's going to explain to us what government has put in place to ease your burden. And then, of course, if you have questions, she will be on hand to answer. But the phone lines are open quickly. Let's start talking. 0201 465 7190. 0201 465 7190. On WhatsApp, it's 080-959-75805. We're talking about the ease of doing business. Now, I remember a lady, a relative of ours who moved from the United States into Nigeria and decided that, she was going to start a business. And in less than a year, she packed up and then she was back in the US. And she complained about multiple taxation, and she complained about the Lagos State Internal Revenue Service and some of the things that she couldn't deal with. Of course, for someone who was coming from outside of the country, these things were not normal for her. But then I guess that it was a bit cutthroat, so she decided to pack up and leave. But that's one story. There's several other successful stories, of course, of successful businesses. I have a friend who decided that she was going to go into the media business, and so she rented a whole house. I think it was a house, a duplex. And so she cut them into studios. And one of the biggest problems that she had also, obviously, was the issue of taxation. Of course, power was an issue, which is not a Lagos state government problem, but she's somehow been able to stabilize her business so far, although now she wants to move that business from the island to the mainland because of the cost of doing business on the island. And I really hope that my guest joins us. She's supposed to be here in person, by the way, and I did tell her to leave on time so that she would get here in time, but of course she's 15 minutes late, and that of course is a major concern. But anyway, let's talk Lagos. We're looking at the ease of doing business, and I've told you how big the Lagos business scene is, especially when we're talking about investments, the number of people that come to Lagos. Lagos, for in itself is a melting pot. Like I said, people would always say, I want to move to Lagos, I want to come and find greener pastures in Lagos, but sometimes people come here and their little businesses grow and become very big. And some of us pack up again and go back to the village and say, it's not working, I'm not coming back to this Lagos. Well, my guest is here, and we're going to fine her for about maybe $500,000 for coming late. Please don't cross my camera. So we're going to fine you for being late because you're 15 minutes late and Lagosians have been waiting for you. So this is the second Lagos state official that has come here late. I don't know if that's the thing. Governor Sanwo-Olu, I'm going to be pointing out these people who come to our studios late. Anyway, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, I'll introduce my guest to you.
Millions of listeners trust us on Hard Fact. Whether it's politics, social issues, controversies, and trending stories, you know we're credible and objective.
It's Hard Facts with Maryann Okon on 99.3 Nigeria Info. We feed you with the right information,
the right topic of interest,
and the right conversation.
I heard the Minister for Information, and he was trying to rationalize why the NLC should not go on strike now.
So one of the challenges at Africa, there's a lot of poverty and there's a lot of illiteracy.
Let's talk
on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Timers.
This is Hard Facts.
All right, so she finally got into the studio. I've told her that how much she's going to pay for coming late and keeping Lagosians waiting. Oyindamola Egbeyemi is the Director Programs and Coordinator of LSETF. Oyindamola, it's so good to have you in the studio, even though we're still a little crossed with you for coming late. Can you move closer to the microphone? For those who do not know what the LSETF is about, just for the average Lagosian, what is it and why was it put together, and what does it address for Lagosians, especially those who do business in Lagos?
Okay, the LSETF is the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund, not empowerment, not education, because we always get that feedback. Yes, it was established by the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund law in 2016 to help create jobs, essentially, and wealth for Lagosians. And the target audience for LSETF is actually all Lagosians who are business owners or are looking for employment.
Okay. So if I'm not Lagosian, and what qualifies me to be Lagosian? Doing business in Lagos or being born and bred in Lagos? What exactly qualifies me to be a Lagosian?
That's a very good question, because people could take it any way that they want to, but we have to have a standardization. And that standard is having your Lagos residence card, which is your LASRA ID card. So that, for any of our programs, is the minimum basic requirement. If you don't have your LASRA card, then we can't hold you accountable for being a Lagos State resident. Yes.
How do people get the LASRA card?
Okay, that's easy to get. It's you can go to any of your local government offices. LSCTF is for all Lagosians and residents of Lagos State. And we have 28 liaison offices across the states at 20 local government areas and 7 local council development areas, as well as at the Ministry of Wealth Creation and Employment. Okay. So the liaison officers there will be able to direct you to the nearest LASRA office, which is sometimes at the same office as the liaison office. So just a couple of weeks ago, when my team was in Ikorodu, I realized that some members didn't have their LASRA ID cards, and I was like, you can't be working here and not have your LASRA card. So there were new members of staff anyway. Yeah. So right while we were there, we went to the LASRA office, and within about 15 minutes, they got their LASRA ID.
That's how swift the process is?
That's how quick it can be.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not sure a lot of people believe this.
Yes. So, they're definitely, I was just coming from a session where we're talking about digitalization of the public sector. There are many initiatives, not just at LSETF, but at other Lagos State agencies where we're trying to improve efficiency. So far, it's not necessarily perfect everywhere. Some places might be better than others, but that initiative and intention is definitely there. Yeah.
So for the average person who obviously has lived in Lagos, has started, because you obviously weren't listening to me, but I was talking about how Lagos attracts a lot of investment and is the economic capital of the country. And so a lot more people want to come to Lagos, whether they own businesses or not. People just see it as a place for greener pastures. You know, people tell you, I hear people say, even if you're selling groundnuts in Lagos, you'll make money. So for those who have migrated to Lagos, now live in Lagos and do business in Lagos, how are you collaborating? Is there like some sort of collaboration? Or for those you are helping to start businesses, What are the things that you're doing for them or with them to help them get the wealth that you have been making reference to?
Okay, very good points you've made, because Lagos is a mega city. Lagos, New York, Dubai, London, Paris. People would migrate to mega cities because that is where business activity and markets are available. So it is inevitable. So these mega cities always have initiatives around the budding business environment. Yeah. But in Lagos, at LSETF, our intention is to ensure that Lagos is thriving. Yes, there's like net immigration into Lagos. Many people are coming in. It is a challenge that we're trying to understand, and the dynamics we're trying to take full advantage of. One thing that we're doing at LSETF is we have a labor market information system, which is informing us on what labor demand and supply look like. Again, it's not perfect, but it is giving us some indications on the labor market dynamics so that we can understand what kind of programs to design and implement. It should also give policymakers a platform for decision making so that we're not working in the dark. Yeah. There's a certain sense of direction. It's not easy because things are moving so quickly.
Fast-paced, yeah.
This is so fast-paced. Like any mega city, it is fast-paced, but we have many young people, and we could even take advantage of the knowledge and the innovation of the young people to add to the efficiency and dynamism of the market. So there are many areas of touch points and discussions around the labor in Lagos.
I like how you quickly said you're not perfect, because you see some people would claim that, we know this city, we know what the city wants. What are some of the challenges that people come to you with doing business, for their businesses to thrive in Lagos? What are some of the things that they come to you with as problems?
Okay. To be very honest, for most, even around the world, the number one problem, access to finance. Access to finance for entrepreneurs, because people need that startup capital, or they need various capital injections into their small businesses. So that was actually the first program that LSETF started to run, the Access to Finance program. I need even as little as 250,000 to buy a pump or a machine after I've been trained to just start working. That's the first thing that they come to us for. And we have this available.
Oh, so you have loans?
We have loans. We have grants sometimes, not all the time. We don't have grant programs open all the time, but our loan programs are primarily open.
Okay.
Yeah, throughout the year. And 9% interest rates annually, no collateral required.
How many people have access to this information? Because you see, even I did not know this. How many people, because I know of the LSETF, but I do not know this information. So what are you doing to inform people about it, especially the people in Lagos that want to have access to these grants?
More conversation.
I'll be right back.
More talk. More right after this. This Wednesday on I Beg to Differ at 4 p.m., 16-year-old Wednesday Celine of the Gibson College will go toe-to-toe with 13-year-old Oriofe Ogunsanya of Grace Springs College on the topic Monarchies are irrelevant to current realities of modern governance. And at 5 p.m., the studio hits up with a matchup involving two 14-year-olds, Faith Oladokun of Straight Gate College and Azima Koinsola Falabi of Muhiba Memorial School. They go shoulder to shoulder on the topic children truly need privacy from their parents. I Beg to Differ is supported by Obiwizi and Christian Schools. Prize money sponsor, Tollywood College, Lagos. For sponsorship, send an email to info@nigeriainfo.fm. I Beg to Differ, the tournament of champions.
99.3 Nigeria Info.
Your number one station for talk. Let's talk. Let's talk.
All right, it's still Hard Facts, 99.3 Nigeria Info. In case you're just joining us, we're live on Facebook and on YouTube, Nigeria Info FM. My guest didn't know she was live on TV. Anyway, we're talking about the ease of doing business, but then we're also talking about how the Lagos state government is empowering more and more Lagosians to do business in Lagos and create wealth. And my guest is from the Lagos State Department, or an agency that's been put together by the Lagos state government to address this issue. Her name is Oyindamola Egbeyemi. She's the director of programs and coordinator of the LSETF. And it is not a, some people say it's empowerment. It's not empowerment. Please. I like how you have told us that there are opportunities for people to get loans at very interesting, rates. There's also, once in a while, some percentage of grants that you can give to some people. But then, looking at the economy or the economics of today's Nigeria, some of those grants, what kind of businesses would they possibly be able to fund? Before now, if you had a 200,000 naira loan, it would do a good business. But right now, what can 200,000 naira do? So is the Lagos state government also taking into consideration the economics of today's, world?
Okay. Yes, that's a good question, because we get asked this a lot. But I would also tell you that when you come in with the hat of sustainability, and also considering that 9% interest rates is not something that you can get just anywhere, we are finding that many of our applicants are getting more, I would say, financially smarter, and knowing what to do better with even the littlest amount of money. And that is something that I would always advise people: just wear the sustainability hat and just think that, okay, for every kobo I put into my business, what return on investment am I going to get out of it? And then that way you'd even build that financial muscle to be able to save and return your profit into your business, grow your business, apply for a higher amount, and possibly even be able to become robust enough to apply for a loan at a commercial bank, which is, of course, a higher interest rate and different conditions required.
Yeah.
So ours is really just that. Let us help you. Let's help
more
you
like a
lift you up.
springboard.
Exactly, like just let's help lift you up. But if you're like maybe 5 years into things and you've gotten the hang of things, then I would say you can graduate into the bigger leagues. But I do appreciate that things are difficult, and that's why we have a business support program as well. And we found that apart from access to finance, many people come to us, or we have also done a lot of research and surveys to find out that some people don't want money. They just want to know, how can I keep my books better? How can I hire staff? What kind of marketing do I need to do? Can I start to prepare my business for export? So people come to us for not export readiness classes exclusively, but business support sessions, financial advisory, human resources advisory, legal advisory, taxation.
I was waiting calmly for you to get to that point.
Yes, taxation, and then master classes on certain areas that through research we discover businesses need. We've done something on business, on digital marketing before. We've done something on ESG before. We've done something on various topics, so that people just know what is going on in the business environment and can take full advantage of resources available to them. We also work with certain partners. Like, for instance, we had a session with First Bank. Well, not at here, but First Bank last we did a scale-up event, and we were able to invite a couple of our beneficiaries to such an event. So for us to wear that conduit to connect our beneficiaries to resources that they need, to sessions that they can attend, because we know we have the information, and that knowledge is a lot of power. So people come to us for a lot of inquiries.
Who do you feed this information? Because they bring information to you. Who do you feed it back to? For example, we're talking about the ease of doing business. Many people, I was just giving an example earlier on about a lady who moved back from the US and decided to invest here in Lagos because she's a Lagosian. And in a year, she packed up and went back to the US. And that's because of taxation, unnecessary taxation. And half the time, she was paying for stuff that she wasn't aware that she was supposed to pay for. And the last time she said she had it, she had to go and say, show me where your office is. I need to complain. Where are the receipts for these things? And why do I have to keep paying these monies? For what reasons? Because I'm guessing that she obviously knows what she's supposed to pay for. And when more of these people keep showing up for the same thing, she's wondering, what's the government doing about it? And she said she walks into a government office and, they just gave her the runaround.
Okay, so to be honest, taxation is something that has been, I would say, complicated for a long time. I know that there have been reforms that have been made this year, and they're actually somewhat beneficial to smaller businesses. I like that you said that she kept asking questions, but you need to ask the right people the questions, because you need to know and understand the integrity of the information that you're getting. So I would say go directly to the taxation agency, or even come to LSETF, so that we can direct you to people within our network that we can be assured of to give the right information. Because there's so much information available, you need to be sure of where it's coming from. That's why I would say for to that for now. But yeah, there's like I said, areas of improvement, right? Yeah.
I've tried to get the LIRS into the studio. I mean, they have where they go to and feed their information. I'm yet to have them on Nigeria Info, and this is also going out to the LIRS, because there are questions that people need to ask the LIRS. Who are the right people that Nigerians or Lagosians should be paying their taxes to? Of course, it's the LIRS for certain taxes. But then there are the Agberos that keep coming to your shop or to your office or to your place of business to keep taking some monies. And who do they complain to? Because the LIRS will tell you that, this is there's no such thing as double taxation. But it's happening in reality. And these are some of the things that could actually cripple businesses. So is the LSETF collaborating with the LIRS, to have these conversations? Because that's why I asked, who are you feeding this information back to, so that, the right people know the challenges and deal with it?
Okay, yeah. So LIRS is one of course, our partners, because we are sister agencies. So we do, whenever we have engagement sessions, sometimes we invite them to give this information as well. But if we need to do it a little more, that is feedback I can take back and then implement it on our various communication channels and engagement opportunities. Yes, so,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're live, facebook.com/Nigeria Info FM. We're talking about doing business in Lagos. And do you want to do business in Lagos? Or are you a business person? Or are you looking to start a business and you're Lagosian and you have your Lagos residence card?
Yes, your LASTRA card.
Your LASTRA card. Because if you don't have it, then you can't get access to some of the good things that the Lagos State government has to offer. Someone here on WhatsApp says, talking about ease of doing business in Lagos, it's very difficult, he says. This is because direct and indirect taxes are on the high side. For example, issue of non-state actors such as Agberos, the police, customs, and other security agencies. What about the bad roads and traffic on the road? All of these make transparent businesses difficult in Lagos. This is from Prince Samuel in Apapa.
Oh, yes. To be very honest, I can relate to that. In as much as I work at LSETF, my family owns a business. Oh, actually, my family owns businesses. I'm a baby and grandchild of entrepreneurs.
Okay.
So I completely relate to that. It is tough. Logistics expensive. The cost of your raw materials, the cost of your staff, everything is running high. So that's why I said that you need to be very, very intentional about looking inwards and seeing any areas of inefficiency, because there's no room for inefficiency. And you also need to ensure that there is enough of a margin for you to withstand any of the economic shocks that we go through. We had COVID-19 in 2020. We have various economic shocks since 2023 as well. So how I want to even say how rugged is your business financially, because you have to be smart about it. Are you pricing well in order to make sure that your margins are not thin? You need to be sure that you can sustain yourself and you're realistic, and you're also not emotional. Because one thing that I would even say about just my experience running businesses is that sometimes if you're doing something you're passionate about, something you're good at, you may not be able to separate yourself from your business, and you end up doing things at a discounted price, not even knowing what is really going on in the market. What is your cost profile? What is your profit margin? Cash flow is different from profits. So people need to be aware of that financial literacy required to make sure that your business can withstand any shocks. It's very important.
As much as, because I'm reading a message from somebody here talking about, spaces for market stalls and rent spaces for businesses, rents. He's talking about the rent issue. I see that Enugu government has done something, and Lagos State government might be following suit in terms of renting, and but that's not your area. I want to talk about, yes, Lagos State government wants to help people grow their businesses or start businesses. What is the Lagos State government doing about the businesses that are already here and are struggling?
Yeah. So there are many, like I said, there are many programs that we have at LSETF. One of them is our business support program, which I said is the advisory sessions, masterclasses, and so on.
Okay.
One aspect of that is also access to markets. And that's through that program, we look for opportunities to have beneficiaries essentially display their products at strategic locations, so that just so that they know where the market is, because market studies are something that's maybe understated, but every business owner needs to know where your market is and how you can penetrate things. So that's one thing that I would say is
okay. So there is there's a business support program that you're doing.
Yeah.
Nifreke here says, I believe your guest wouldn't deny the not knowing the menace of Agberos in Lagos. What are they doing about these touts in Lagos?
Well, to be honest, I don't have the answer to that question. It doesn't really fall under my
I would be shocked if you had the answer.
Yes, to be honest, I don't, but I hope for the sake of all of us who are trying to thrive in Lagos that these unnecessary challenges are resolved.
Someone said that you didn't apologize for coming late.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't apologize on air. I apologized when I walked into the studio. I came in with my tail between my legs. So sorry.
Iraba Victor here says, please let your guests talk more on the non-state actors. Oh my goodness. Agberos making businesses very unbearable for entrepreneurs. He says, I closed down my logistic business because of this menace. And logistics, obviously, the bikes and the delivery guys. That's also a business gone down.
Logistics. That's part of the gig economy. Those are yes. To be honest, like I said, I don't have that answer, but I'll take it as feedback as one of the areas that we need to look into, because access to security is actually important as well. I've spoken about access to finance, access to market, access to business support, but what I'm hearing a lot now is access to security.
Yeah.
How are we securing our businesses?
Yes, because it's one thing to say, well, we're giving you money to start a business. How are you protecting helping us to protect our businesses? How are you helping us to make sure that those businesses don't go out, or we don't go out of those businesses because these guys are always, and I wonder what department that would be under. Maybe, I don't know.
I can get back to you.
Yeah.
On that. Yes.
Because I know before I got you, it was a very daunting task. I kept asking, who are the people that are in charge of businesses in Lagos? What's the department? I mean, because in different states they're called different things, and then finally I got you. But then I'm sure that there's a Chamber of Commerce, which is not governmental. Is there a Department of Commerce or a Ministry of Commerce?
Yeah, there's actually a Ministry of Commerce, Cooperatives, Trade and Investments.
Ah.
Yes.
I don't know who the commissioner is.
Okay. The commissioner is Mrs. Folashade Ambrose Medebem. Yes.
So, Mrs. Folashade, we'd like you to come on the show so that you can help the LSETF with what they're doing. I get that you guys are doing a great job, but of course the Ministry of Commerce has a lot to do. They'd probably be able to answer more questions that people are sending, because everybody's sending the same question. But then there's a question for you.
Okay.
What's the minimum and maximum loan that you give out to Lagosians with the Lastra card?
Okay. The minimum size is 50,000. Maximum is 5 million. Yeah.
So who qualifies for what?
Okay. So I can break it down.
Yes.
So we have 3 loan programs. There's the micro enterprise startup, which is 50,000 to 500,000. That is for people who are literally just starting. And one of the key requirements for that one is having been trained in a vocational or technical skill. So any certification that you have on electrical works, carpentry, anything that you have that proves that you're certified to work is the key requirement for that. Now, before I go into everything, I would just say that basic requirements are the Lastra card,
Mm-hmm.
your BVN, because we need to know that you're banked, because we'll,
Because
get
you
the
have to
returns.
send the money somewhere.
You have to send the money somewhere, and we have to collect the money from somewhere
Yes.
as well. Then your government issued ID and your tax ID.
How am I going to get a tax ID if I don't have any money? Be 50. I mean,
so you get a tax ID, but you're not necessarily paying tax for certain categories of our loan products.
Mm-hmm.
But we need to be sure that you are able to pay your taxes. Because to be honest, because we're funded by the government, it's taxpayers' money, which we also need to return.
Yes. So for the 50,000 naira woman, what taxes are?
So it's the tax ID that she would need, the 50,000 to 250,000, just the ID.
Okay.
Yes. But so those are the basic requirements. So I'll continue to describe the programs.
Yeah.
So 50 to 250K, you have to have a vocational skill, and we don't ask you for a bank statement for that one because we expect that you're just starting up.
Yeah.
So it is only fair for us to not ask you for a business bank statement.
Yeah.
We might come back and ask you for a personal bank statement just so that we can understand your attitude to money a little better.
Yeah.
Because financial literacy, like I said, is part of
it's very important.
Yes.
I mean.
Yes. So that is for the MES. The ME is micro enterprise, which for us means you are just about a year in business. You've just established a few things. You're pulling things together. You may or may not have a business bank statement, but you have a bank statement that we can collect, analyze over 3 months, and see that okay, this person is moving somewhere, so you can qualify for that loan amount. And then we have our own bigger boys within our own little school of financial advisory, 500,001 to 5 million naira, and for that one, all those basic requirements, but we ask you for your CAC because you need to be an established business.
Yes.
And also a 6-month business bank statement.
Okay.
So it's like graduating from one level to another. And that's why I'll say that some people who have been able to benefit from our programs can now move on to the next level, which is maybe...
And do you support that growth level at every point? Because, some people can grow and get to a certain point and then retrogress.
Yes.
So is there a support system for those businesses at every level?
Yes. So there is a support system at every level, but it's also open to everyone. So one thing I would say that we're doing currently is an MSME boot camp.
Okay.
Whereby we actually looked at our entire loan portfolio and put out a call for applications to people who are interested in learning all these business support areas, which I spoke about earlier, intentionally within a month of boot camp training.
Okay.
4 weeks. We're just about to round up the session in Alimosho tomorrow, actually.
Okay.
Yes, and we had so many applicants for these sessions. We had about 800 applicants, but we're only able to take on 70 for now. But it doesn't mean that other initiatives are not already ongoing. But we just wanted to get like the top 70 so that we're sure that once you're done with that program, you have progressed business-wise.
And how can people get in touch? Are you online? Is there a portal where people can go register or see the information on how they can, register on your portal and see if they qualify for any of these loans or your support that you're giving to Lagosians?
Yes. So we have a website, LSETF.ng, but I would also say that we're very active on social media.
Oh, yeah.
We're very active on Instagram and LinkedIn.
Okay.
I would say that's the best way to see what is going on the go.
Instagram.
Instagram.
What's your handle on Instagram?
At LSETF.
At LSETF. Okay,
Yes.
Lagosians, you can go there now. Let's see the videos of your boot camp on there.
Well, I'm just trying to check the page. But there are many programs that are going on at the same time. Like right now, we also have an on-the-spot loan application drive at Igondo Ikotun. I don't know if that's been uploaded.
Okay.
We're also at the Omniverse Summit, which is where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
Yes. So there's a lot of activity. I'm just trying to see if there's anything recently on the boot camp.
Okay, well, we want to keep the phone lines open.
Yes,
I have about 5 to 6 minutes to take a few calls if you are interested, or maybe you have benefited from the LSETF. And you are still in business, or you are about to start your business because of the support that the LSETF has given to you, and you want to be part of the conversation, or you probably want to also inquire and be a beneficiary, just join the conversation. We're live on Facebook and on YouTube, Nigeria Info FM. You could also join us on via telephone. It's 0201-465-7190. That's 0201-465-7190. You could also join the conversation on WhatsApp. It's 0809 5975 805. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts. Hello. Hello.
Madam, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
You guys should have not person to even call and question. I think I've gone already now.
Call now. Is it not the call that you're calling, Oga?
Oh, it's gone off now.
So he called to
dear.
complain.
Oh.
Well, you can call. The phone lines are open. Join the conversation. Ask all the questions. It's funny how you called to complain, but then you didn't ask the question that you want to ask. Anyway, someone here says, please ask your guest with the aforementioned. Of course, he's talking about the ease of doing business. The guy that was talking about the Egbeyemi and the customs and the police, he said, ask your guest with the aforementioned challenges. If one fails to meet up with payment, what will happen? This is from Prince Samuel Oji again.
Okay. Yes, and this happens a lot. Even though our recovery from last year is over 90%, we're able to recover 90% of the loans that we disbursed to.
Good.
So to be very honest, we do have, first of all, we have a risk assessment process before we give you the loan.
Okay.
And I need to mention this because sometimes people don't get the amount that they ask for.
Okay.
And that's because we've done an analysis of your cash flow.
Okay.
And we've seen what your affordability is to pay back when you make a request for a loan. So some people get a little upset when we don't give them all they ask for, but we have to say that, look, it was based on your bank statement you submitted. Sometimes we'll even ask them to submit another bank statement so that we can see more financial activity. So we're also doing that to help you safeguard your business so that you can afford to pay back when the loan is due on a monthly basis. And you're not struggling at the end of the month to meet up with that requirement. So that's one thing I'll see as preventative. Yes, so certain circumstances come about where, I mean, some examples you've given come up. There's some things that we may not have full control over. You can actually write to us. Yes. And give us a payment plan for that.
Oh, there's also that.
There's also that. Communication is important. Just like you said about us as well. So it goes in all directions. But we do have a recovery team who, if people are past their due date for repaying, you will get a visit. You get a phone call
first.
You get you get a visit, and if you're not
you don't behave like the loan app guys who post the faces of people say that they're thieves or something.
No, we don't.
I was just kidding.
We don't do that. But I must say that we don't do that.
Yeah.
Yes, but if it gets to a point where we need to take you to a small claims court, we would do that because we need to do the right thing.
And have you ever evaluated a person to a point where you just said, no, we can't give you money?
Oh, in fact, I just got off a call on my way here. So, and it's one of the things that we go through, whereby people, they have expectations of us being the government, and it's good to have the expectation, but sometimes we also have to deal with reality. We find out that majority of people who applied for our loans actually get declined because they have bad credit. That's the first thing we check. That's like one of the first things in our acceptance criteria. Is this person owing other people? And some people are surprised when we come back to them with the feedback because they're not sure if we're doing a thorough enough job. So, yeah, that happens. Yeah, that happens.
Okay. Benga here says, I applied for a facility and it was declined because the person I guaranteed was... so he was a guarantor.
He was a guarantor.
And the person he guaranteed defaulted. But the person has resumed payment and he's saying, can I reapply, please?
Yes, you can. But if we can get in touch with us, info@lsetf.ng, we can attend to that request.
Okay.
And thank you for putting it out there because we do require guarantors, and that is a live example of what decisions you make, how the decisions you make, or the people you entrust decisions with could affect you as well.
Very true.
Yes.
Someone here says, good afternoon. I'm currently not working, but I have a bus I would love to fix to be used for transportation. Please, can I source for your loan or for a loan from your establishment? And this is from Justin in Ikeja.
Okay. Thanks, Justin, for the question. It's That's a viable business, to be honest, but we need to see what more of a business profile you have to justify your application for a loan.
Yeah.
So
you want to be sure that he's trustworthy with your money.
Yeah. So just the criteria I mentioned, like I said, the risk assessment process is very important. We would come and ask questions. We even do a know your customer activity, who business, and see that it's.
I see. Well, he says he doesn't have.
He doesn't have one.
Yeah, he just has a boss. Maybe he used to have, but he wants to fix it and get back into the business. Yomi here from Victoria Island says, I followed the LSETF on LinkedIn, Facebook. My questions: do they support transport business? Another transporter here.
Okay, yes, we do. So we're sector agnostic rather.
Okay.
So we support any business as long as it is viable and we see the prospects through the assessment process. Yes.
Okay. I'll take one quick call because we have just about a minute to go.
Okay.
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm from Mr. Paul.
Okay, Paul.
Can you give me a loan to complete my building project?
Mr. Paul.
Even he knows it's ridiculous.
Well, okay, yes, but to apply for a loan, since he asked, you go to loans.lsetf.ng and then you can put in your details, and when you submit your application, we will do the risk assessment and then determine your ability to get that loan.
Okay, well, let's see if we can just run through some more questions and then go on a quick break before I let you go. Uche from Ogudu says, as far as there are no solutions to the menace of non-state actors, that's Agberos, towards business owners in Lagos, there's no need asking more questions. He says, I'm sorry about that. That's a hard fact. Lagos state government needs to get real with the citizens.
Feedback taken.
Okay.
Feedback taken.
Okay. This one says, someone here says, oh my goodness, he says, that's someone's pet. I don't know what pet he's talking about.
Okay.
He says the Agberos is someone's pet, that we should leave them alone, that there's nothing that can be done about it. This is Tony from very interesting. Another message here says, I'm so sorry, that message disappeared. This one says, please ask your guest if it's LSETF or LSCTF. No, it's LSE as in E for employment. E, not C. LSETF. Okay? He says, because I'm seeing the former on IG. That's LSCTF.
It's possible that it's there, but it is LSETF.
E for employment.
Yes.
And he says, is it 9% for 5 million and above? This is from Al Amin.
Yes. So it's not 5 million and above. The cap is at 5 million.
So it doesn't go beyond 5 million.
It doesn't go beyond 5 million because that's what our law requires. It is 5 million and 9% interest rate per annum.
Okay. Let's go on a very quick break. When we come back, we'll wrap things up here. All right.
More news and information coming up. We'll be back in a moment. 99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.